Have you ever wondered why some completely normal travelers, people who look calm, prepared, not suspicious, at all suddenly get pulled aside, rushed straight into secondary screening as if they accidentally triggered some secret airport alarm that no one talks about? And why sometimes the reason isn't what you think it is at all? Because today, as we peel back the curtain on the quiet, uncomfortable truth behind airport security behaviors, you're about to discover the 15 surprising, actually shockingly, common mistakes travelers make without even realizing it. Mistakes that instantly change how security officers look at you, judge your risk level, and decide whether you get waved through with a smile or escorted into a private room where your bags get opened like a birthday gift nobody asked for. I want you to picture this for a second, because it all starts with the moment you walk through the sliding doors of the terminal. And everything you do, from that first step, your face, your hands, your timing, even how you breathe, begins silently filing into what officers call behavioral pattern indexing. And you might think that sounds dramatic, but trust me, airports are dramatic places, and mistake number one begins before you even reach security. Because rushing, panicking, or moving too fast triggers an automatic heightened traveler tag in human observation systems. Officers don't need tech to spot it. They're trained to see microstress. And here's the weird part. Even if you're late, even if it's innocent, that energy follows you right into the checkpoint. And then there's the second mistake: avoiding eye contact. Not in a shy way, that's normal. But when people glance away too quickly, repeatedly, as if trying to look normal without actually being normal, it signals something different. And though most travelers don't know this, officers don't look for dangerous people first. They look for people who feel out of place. So when your eyes dart around too much, boom, you're on a mental list. And that leads straight into mistake number 3, which honestly nobody thinks about, but everyone does. Rehearsing your answers in your head. Yes, it's totally innocent, but your mouth moves slightly, your jaw clenches, your eyebrows shift, and to someone trained in micro-expression detection, it looks like you're preparing a story, not a response. And then comes mistake number 4, over-explaining when the officer asks a simple question. You'd be shocked how many travelers get flagged for talking too much. Because at the checkpoint, short answers equal confidence, long rambling answers equal uncertainty, and uncertainty equals a quiet nod between officers that means secondary screening. And the 5th mistake is wearing layered clothing in weird ways. Not cold weather layers, that's normal, but layers that don't make sense for the climate or time of year: heavy jacket in warm weather, scarves wrapped strangely, pockets bulging things officers are trained to associate with concealment or nervous comfort behavior. And that leads into mistake 6, touching your pockets too often. It's instinct, like checking your phone or wallet, but TSA doesn't see instinct. They see object-based anxiety, which usually means something is in there that you're worried about, even if it's just gum or earbuds. And then mistake 7 comes into play, and it's the one nobody ever mentions. Drinking too much water too fast before security. Sounds ridiculous, right? But rapid drinking is a classic anxiety behavior. And officers who've seen thousands of passengers, they spot it instantly. And here's mistake 8, walking through the scanner too early. People do this all the time, stepping forward before the officer says go, and it seems harmless, but actually signals impatience, nervousness, or non-compliance. And in high-security airports, that alone is enough to get you redirected. And mistake 9 happens right on the conveyor belt, placing your items in the bins in an overly organized or overly chaotic way. Either extreme triggers attention because the average traveler is naturally messy, but not too messy. And officers look for outliers. So if your stuff is perfectly aligned like a museum display or tossed like a yard sale, your bin stands out. And that's all it takes. And then there's mistake 10, checking your bag too frequently while waiting, like turning back every 10 seconds to see whether it's coming out of the X-ray, which to an officer signals concern about something. Inside, even if the only thing you're worried about is your laptop getting scratched. And mistake 11 is posture. Slouching or stiffening too much both send signals, because normal travelers shift weight naturally, but nervous ones force posture. And this creates a pattern that trained observers can identify in seconds. And now mistake 12, the one that Shocks most people is traveling with electronics that look modified even when they aren't, like a laptop with too many stickers, a phone with exposed cables, or portable chargers taped up because the casing cracked. Officers have to assume the worst, so unusual devices almost always get flagged, and mistake 13 involves your passport or ID. Fumbling with it, checking it repeatedly, or handing it over to slowly create suspicion, because confident travelers always know exactly where their documents are, even if everything else is chaotic. And mistake 14 is one you've probably seen but never understood. Whispering or huddling with your travel partner right before reaching the officer. TSA interprets that as last-minute coordination or concealment, even if all you said was, "I think I left the stove on." And finally, the 15th mistake, the silent one, the one that gets more innocent travelers pulled aside than anything else, looking back at the security line after you pass through. Officers call this the back glance, and it subconsciously communicates unfinished business, doubt, or concern, even out of pure curiosity, and that tiny look can be the very thing that sends someone after you to say, "Sir, ma'am, I'm going to need you to step this way." And while most people blame the machines or assume their luggage had something suspicious inside, the truth is that most secondary screenings are triggered by human behavior, not objects, because airports have quietly become psychological chessboards where every move is read, measured, interpreted, and logged by people who've seen millions of passengers and can tell within 3 seconds whether something is off, even if you don't realize you're doing anything at all. And this is why so many travelers get blindsided by screenings they never expected, screenings that feel random but are anything but random. And that's the shocking part. You might be the most innocent traveler in the entire terminal, but one tiny habit, something you don't even notice, can instantly change your security category. And that's why understanding these mistakes matters so much, because the airport isn't just a place you pass through. It's a system that reads you, a stage where your body language speaks louder than your bag, louder than your boarding pass, louder than anything you might say. And if you've ever wondered why the person behind you breezed through while you were stopped, it may not be because of what you packed, but because of a tiny moment, just one, that told an officer something you never meant to say. And now that you know these hidden triggers, you'll start noticing them everywhere, in yourself and in others. Because once you see how the airport actually reads people, you never look at travel the same way again.